thing.
Yeah.
It's personal, but so the reason I came on this course was because I was having to dash through the front door every time I came home, whiz to the loo as quickly as I could, and I always thought, how on earth am I going to do this when I'm older and can't run? I was even getting down onto my hands and knees to take the pressure off so that I could get to the loo, and it was, it wasn't great. Anyway, in the last couple of weeks, I've realised that I've come home, gone through the front door, started doing something else without even thinking about the loo. And then I've realised after about 10 minutes, oh, I just got home from somewhere and didn't even need to go to the loo. So thank you. It's massive news for me. Because I've been dashing to the loo ever since I had my first child, and he's now 20. So thank you, Linda. It's taken a while.
Yeah,
but it's
I cry. that's so cool, because it's just life stuff, isn't it? It's being able to live life and not be dictated by the bladder, and that's wonderful. And thank you so much for being so consistent, because you're an absolute star. You're consistent and you get the results, and it's always the way. It's the people who are consistent who tell me these stories and have this incredible transformation. And that's why I made, the bathroom boot camp, and I encourage like the tea break Kristen 12. This is little things on a consistent basis is what is going to create those habits, the atomic habits that create the change. And then suddenly we go, I've improved. Like, it's not been a couple of weeks or one thing a week, and it's the consistency. And you have, so I've got to say, you've put in the work, and now you're getting the results, and I couldn't be happier for you. I really couldn't be happier for you. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you for, you're always there, and that makes me always want to be there as well. And so thank you. It's like you're holding our hands as we do this, and it's just really helped. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you for saying that. It is sometimes tough when I turn up and there's only one or two people, etc. But it's important to be consistent, and my reason for being, as it stands, I know, is to empower women to feel better, to function better. It's what it's all about. And I deeply believe our world needs more women and our influence in it. And my contribution to that is to help women to not deal with, pelvic issues in particular, that are going to hamper them from showing up. So, but of course, it takes doing, doesn't it? It takes the practice, and that's why yoga is a practice. It's not it's a lifelong thing that I feel has got great tools for us midlife women, and it's a practice. We just do it, and we get the results. Cool. That was nice. Any questions about what we did? That was a lovely reflection, though, so thank you. Yeah, Claire, what is it?
Yeah, I have the opposite of constipation.
Mm-hmm.
Should I not do those exercises, or?
No. So I suggest you work on improving gut biome. So really start to focus on things like the bone broth, things like getting in, massively upping the above ground vegetables, the seeds, the pulses and things in your diet.
Yeah. I think that's why I have all those things in my diet. So I think that's why I don't have any problem with constipation.
No, I'm the same. If anything, I have to dash sometimes to get there.
So are you using anything like chia seeds and flax seeds to bulk up the stool? So that's a good thing to add in of a morning to bulking up. So like a little shot of chia seeds water, a bit of flax seeds in there, and then focus on the activation, especially around that anus, the slow twitch muscles. Yeah, so you want to be able to strengthen those muscles using some Elveston cream or estriol cream, which is the estrogen cream around the anus area, just to keep the sphincter muscles plump, is a good idea. But it is, you know, whereas today I was focusing a bit more on the fast twitch at the front around the urethra, focus a bit more on the activation of those muscles around the anus. Getting good glute strength is going to help. So working on those squats, so glute strength, slower activation around the anal sphincter muscles, but remembering tightness is dysfunction. So we don't want we want strength, but we need to release those muscles as well. So all of the, you know, the leg on top of the knee, the figure 4 stretch, the open knee, open sitting bones stretches, all of that's really important as well. So you want to slow twitch, hold for up to 7 seconds, and then release slowly, and be able to eventually go into a staggered stage of release. So it's not, it's a little bit, what I call basement level total release. But once you've done the activation, you do need to make sure that those muscle fibers stay lengthened. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. So bulking up the stool, don't reduce your fluid intake and things, instead working on just bulking up the stool with things like the chia seeds, and then just making sure those muscles become stronger. Cool.
Yes, I think it's a muscle thing for me. I think it's due to what was left from forceps delivery, but
yeah.
Luckily, I'm very regular, so I always go at the same time of day, but I don't get caught short really. But sometimes I'm in the house and I think I need to go now.
Yeah. And with a poo, you do need to go now. So you don't want to be holding a poo. With a wee, it's different. We want to be able to manage the bladder. And when we get that first, oh my God, I need the loo, often that's only when we have about 150 mils or less in the bladder. So it's you know, half a cup. It's not enough to go to the loo. So we need to be able to do our quick flicks, or sit down, or count backwards from 100, or do something to calm that urge, calm those detrusor muscles that are doing a bit of a spasm, and then try and add, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes before we go to the loo. So start to do that bladder training. So we want to be able to control the bladder. The bowel's different. We don't want to be holding in poo. If we do that, we get into that whole reabsorption issue. That's not a good thing. So better to just get stronger sphincter muscles, stronger around the anus, stronger around the levator ani, or the banda muscle that holds the organs in place, that holds that bowel up, and so it holds the anus up, and then also to bulk up the stool a little bit if it's more of a diarrhea, too loose situation.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's the urge, and I think there is sort of damage to the tissues in that area for me. And
yeah, are you using the vaginal estrogen cream?
No, I keep meaning to contact the doctors about that.
Yeah, I would, because remember, all around the whole vulva area, and the sphincter muscles are very estrogen rich. So when we start to lose our estradiol, and estriol, those muscle fibers, they said from about 35 years old, and sometimes earlier, we will lose about 1 to 2% of the muscle fiber, the strata of the muscles every year, unless we are actively strengthening and replenishing that estrogen. So I would get onto that. It shouldn't be a problem just to e-consult the GP and say I want to add in vaginal or vulva estrogen, and probably the cream rather than the pessary or the tablet, just so they can use it particularly around the anal area.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, it's worth trying all these things, isn't it? I mean, it's I would say it's the gold standard is not just the hormone replacement. It's not just doing Kegels. It's, you know, it's not just you've got to bring in the activation and the release work and potentially the supplementation and the nutrient side of things. It really has to be quite a holistic approach.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for bringing that up, Claire. That's good. Any other questions, or are we good? Yeah. Thanks for joining. And I'll be uploading this so you can re-watch, redo this later.